Rome doesn't collapse like a building. It collapses like a relay race, one hand shoving the baton into the next, faster and faster, until somebody drops it. This is the story of the purple, the one color you never wanted to wear, because it turned men into legends and legends into targets. At first, it's a mask. One man promises peace while quietly becoming king. Then it becomes a prize, stolen, inherited, auctioned, and chosen by armies with the stomp of boots. And in the end, emperors don't rule the world. They fight to rule Italy. From Augustus, 27 BCE, to Romulus Augustulus, for 76, every ruler, the moments that mattered and the quiet second when the West finally goes dark. He begins as a survivor, then becomes a system. Augustus rules from 27 BCE to 14 CE. He ends civil war not with one battle, but with an idea. Rome will keep the Republic's furniture, Senate, elections, speeches, while the real power lives in one man's hands. Augustus pays the army, rebuilds the city, and makes stability feel like destiny. He doesn't call himself king. He never needs to die. And the most dangerous thing he builds isn't stone. It's succession. Because Rome can survive one genius, but can it survive the next man wearing the purple? Tiberius, 14 to 37, competent, controlled, and distant. Rome runs like a machine, but the mood darkens. Power starts to feel like suspicion. The palace feels colder than the battlefield. Then Caligula, 37 to 41, and the purple becomes theater. The court becomes a stage. Fear becomes entertainment. Rome learns a brutal lesson. When the emperor plays God, the empire starts praying for lightning. Claudius, 41 to 54, survives by being underestimated. He expands Rome's reach and strengthens the bureaucracy, clerks, law, record-keeping, Rome's invisible spine. He proves an emperor doesn't have to be loved to be effective. And then Nero, 54 to 68. He wants applause as much as obedience. He performs, poses, and treats the empire like a mirror. Rome burns in the cultural memory of his reign, whether by disaster, neglect, or suspicion, because what matters is the feeling that spreads. The throne has become a hazard. When Nero falls, Rome discovers the most dangerous truth of all. The throne can be empty and the world doesn't wait. The year the empire spun. Chapter 2, Civil War Speedrun. Galba, 68 to 69. Old, rigid, too slow for the storm. Otho, January to April 69. He grabs the purple and learns it burns. Vitellius, July to December 69. A feast at the edge of a knife. Then Vespasian, 69 to 79. A soldier who doesn't want drama. He wants order. He stabilizes the treasury, restores confidence, and turns Rome back into something that feels permanent. Titus, 79 to 81, brief, remembered for crisis and response. Domitian, 81 to 96, efficient, feared, increasingly isolated inside his own power. Rome survives again, but now the empire knows the mechanic behind emperors. Armies don't just defend Rome, they can choose Rome. The Golden Handoff. Nerva, 96 to 98, solves a problem with a revolutionary idea. Don't gamble on blood, adopt competence. Trajan, 98 to 117. Rome at maximum reach, maximum confidence. If you want the empire to look eternal, this is the postcard. Legions, roads, ports, and a capital that believes the world is its inheritance. Then Hadrian, 117 to 138. He flips the strategy. He doesn't chase expansion. He inspects, fortifies, travels, and turns Rome from conquest into management. Borders harden. The empire becomes a curated world. Antoninus Pius, 138 to 161. A quiet reign. Some emperors are famous for what they do. He's famous because nothing breaks. Marcus Aurelius, 161 to 180. The philosopher in Armored. He shares power with Lucius Verus, 161 to 169, and spends years under gray skies, fighting wars that don't end cleanly. He tries to rule with discipline in a world that punishes restraint. And then Commodus, 177 to 192, the son of the philosopher, turns the throne into a mirror. The purple stops meaning duty and starts meaning ego. When succession becomes a family habit instead of careful choice, the empire starts paying interest in chaos. Chapter card: The Throne for Sale. Pertinax, January to March 193, a reformer with no time. Didius Julianus, March to June 193, remembered for one ugly symbol. The empire treated like merchandise. Interseptimius Severus, 193 to 211, a hard ruler who tightens the empire's bond to the army. He stabilizes the state, but makes a bargain that will haunt Rome. To rule, you must satisfy soldiers first. Caracalla, 198 to 217, shares the purple with Geta, 209 to 211. The partnership doesn't survive. After that, Rome learns another rule. Inside the palace, the most dangerous weapon is proximity. Macrinus, 217 to 218, a fast transition. Elagabalus, 218 to 222. Scandal and shockwaves. An empire wondering if the gods have turned their faces away. Severus Alexander, 222 to 235. A calmer surface, pressure underneath. By 235, the empire is huge and brittled up, and then it begins to crack like ice. Chapter card: The Storm of Emperors. This is the era where Rome speedruns its own breakdown. 235 to 284. A carousel of rulers, invasions, breakaway regions, and armies declaring their favorite general emperor by sunrise. If it feels like the purple is changing hands too fast to breathe, that's the point. Rome isn't being ruled. Rome is being fought over. Maximinus, 235 to 238. Gordian I and Gordian II, 238. Pupinus and Balbinus, 238. Gordian III, 238 to 244. Philip, 244 to 249. Decius, 249 to 251. Hostilian, 251. Gallus, 251 to 253. Emilian, 253. Valerian, 253 to 260. Gallienus, 253 to 268. Claudius II Gothicus, 268 to 270. Quintillus, 270. Then Aurelian, 270 to 275. He's not a philosopher, not a performer. He's a repairman with a sword. He drives back threats, pulls the empire toward unity, and proves Rome can still snap its spine straight. After him, Tacitus, 275 to 276. Florian, 276. Probus, 276 to 282. Soldier emperors try to keep the world from flying apart. Then Carus, 282 to 283. Nemirian, 283 to 284. Carinus, 283 to 285. Short reigns, heavy crown. Finally, Diocletian, 284 to 305, arrives like an engineered. He redesigns the empire into something harder, more organized, more authoritarian, because old Rome can't handle the weight anymore. He splits power, multiplies emperors, and tries to make Rome survivable by turning it into a machine. Diocletian doesn't just change emperors, he changes what an emperor is. Two empires in one skin. Out of the power struggles rises a ruler who reshapes everything. Constantine the Great, 306 to 337. He wins the throne, then changes what the throne stands for. The empire's identity shifts. The center of gravity shifts. The future feels different. After him, the purple fractures inside the family. Constantine II, 337 to 340. Constantius II, 337 to 361. Constans I, 337 to 350. A flash of reversal. Julian, 361 to 363. Then Jovian, 363 to 364. the West starts to bleed. The split becomes real power. Valentinian I rules the West, 364 to 375. Valens rules the East, 364 to 378. Two courts, two frontiers, one empire slowly learning it has two hearts. Gratian, 367 to 383. Valentinian II, 375 to 392. The West is still Roman, still proud, yet increasingly dependent on generals, allies, and compromise. Theodosius I, 379 to 395, the last man who briefly holds the whole thing together. And then in the West, Honorius, 393 to 423. Under Honorius, something happens that changes Rome's soul. The sack of Rome in 410. Not an explosion, an omen. The world realizes Rome can be touched. A short flare, Constantius III, 421. Then a long drain, Valentinian III, 425 to 455. Years where the West still calls itself an empire, but more and more of it is negotiated. Now the late West whirlwind. Petronius Maximus, 455. Avitus, 455 to 456. And Majorian, 457 to 461. One of the last emperors who looks like he might reverse fate. He's the what-if of the Western Empire. Brief competence in a collapsing house. Then Libius Severus, 461 to 465. Anthemius, 467 to 472. By now, the emperor is less a commander and more a bargaining chip. Olybrius, 472. Glycerius, 473 to 474. Julius Nepos, 474 to 475. Names that flicker because the West is running out of time. And finally, a child emperor, Romulus Augustulus, 475 to 476. Placed on the throne like a prop, removed when the West can no longer pretend. On September 4th, 476, the Western purple is taken away, and no one replaces it. The empire doesn't vanish overnight. Roads remain, stones remain, laws echo forward. But the idea of a Western Roman emperor dies right there. Not with an explosion, with a silence.